Coming up on the Midweek Madness AFL Today Show, all Australian teams halfway through the season. That's pretty fun. Also, rule changes. This is going to go great, no doubt. Hey, Alex, what's your favourite thing from today's show?
Possibly the All-Australian teams. We agree on something, but of course, Stats Guy got it wrong.
Good old Stats Guy. Hey, Stats Guy, what did you like about today's show?
Oh, I'm trying to sneak Rowan Marshall into my All-Australian, and I liked how he bagged St Kilda more than North for once. That was beautiful.
Well, that's horses for courses, that one, I'll tell you. Either way, you're still 0-10, remember that. Anyway, check out the AFL Today Show right now. Footy is back. G'day, I'm Fitzroy legend Mark Kasika. Wait, no, I'm not. I'm James Clements, and this is the AFL Today Show. It would be the AFL Yesterday Show if Mark Kasika was doing what he was saying. This is your new favourite one-stop shop for all things footy. That's right, AFL. Actually, that's the league, isn't it? Aussie rules footy is what we're talking about. Joining me for this Midweek Madness show, it's what we do on a Wednesday. Local weirdos, footy nuffs, some would call them AFL experts. Over there is Alex Donnelly.
Dreaded bye time, Jim. I'm not happy. Not happy.
I know.
What are you talking about? Buys are the greatest time of year. If Carlton had a bye this week instead of playing Port, do you know how much happier I'd be? I'm already angry. I'm pre-angry.
Actually, yeah.
Like Stats Boy's like, I don't have to watch the Roos play this week.
I was
This is
literally
great.
about to say I'm here and I'm very excited because the Roos aren't playing this week. I don't have to be sad
It's
for 1
more
week.
that it goes for 4 weeks that annoys me.
That is annoying, yeah.
That pipsqueak you just heard was Stats Boy.
Whoa, that's a bit harsh. But like you said,
Pipsqueak is a great word.
yeah, it's not accurate. But I'm actually excited.
I'll be the judge of what's accurate. Thank you. Anyway, we are having a midweek madness chat. We've got plenty of yeah-nahs, but the cool thing about this episode is we are talking all Australian teams. We're halfway through the AFL season. Basically, as Alex alluded to, we're into the second round of buys.
Yep.
Because the first round of buys were after round 0.
Yeah.
So the
Weirdly
second, it's
enough.
like the second chunk of buys is what we're trying to say.
Too many buys.
The good thing to come of buys, no overlap.
That's true.
Granted.
That's true.
Anyway, so before we get into everything, though, of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow AFL Today across all of the socials. Just subscribe. I'll try that again. Subscribe. I can't say it 3 times, boys. It's all falling apart. Subscribe.
You've gone
Now,
over the quota.
I fixed it. Either way, footy is back. Let's do some news. That's right. The news for this week. Luke Parker on appeal. What's going on, Alex?
Well, he decided to send someone's face to a new universe last week in a VFL game. They appealed the 6-week suspension. Fair enough. Have a throw at the stumps. It is 6 weeks when you consider buys. It goes into like late July. Unfortunately for the Swans, the decision was upheld. So Luke Parker sits out for 6 weeks. Already sat out for a week. I don't have too much of an issue with this. He literally broke a dude's face.
So when you say send his face to a different galaxy, one of my favourite things is my 5-year-old Squid.
Yep.
He's like, Dad, library book. I'm like, what did you get today, pal? And he's like, this is a book on Uranus. I'm like, what?
Uranus.
You mean Uranus? And he's like, no. I'm like, we have a disconnect here. Anyway, so that's where I'm thinking where Luke Parker sent that face. Somewhere
Maybe,
out
yeah.
into space.
What a reference that was.
Not great. But Luke Parker, I don't know. I'm like, if I was a Swans fan, I'm like, just stay on ice, buddy. This is actually probably fine. Just work on your fitness. You'll
Possibly,
be fine.
yeah.
Yeah,
Ready and raring.
He hasn't been
injuries.
playing anyway, so.
Well,
yeah.
he played 4 full games in the VFL
Yeah.
and it had a lot of touches of the footy. Hasn't got injured. Now the body gets a bit of a break
love
mid-season.
it.
He's a bit older. And if something happens to the Swans, say in August, hey, Luke Parker, straight in.
I love that. Taylor Adams will definitely ping a hammy
Yeah.
and away we go.
Yeah, probably.
Speaking of the Swans, Chundley Chad Warner is delaying his contract talks until after the Swans win the flag.
Well, this
He's a smart man.
it's
Chad Warner.
also not.
I feel like you did not give that joke enough of credit
Yeah.
because it was pretty good, I thought.
Well, this one's going to win the
he's
flag.
basically, my focus here is winning the flag. It's like, what happens if they win the flag?
Ooh.
He's
He's
like,
gone. He's
like,
gone.
"Peace, I'll catch
Maybe.
you."
So Chad Warner is contracted till the end of 2025.
So that's next year for those playing along at home.
He delayed the contract talks at like the start of the year, and I think it's only coming to prominence now because, well, he kicked 4 and got
He's
best on
killing it,
ground
yeah,
on the
yeah.
weekend. So it's like, he's like, yeah, why would I re-sign now when I'm contracted till the end of next year? By this time next year, I could have won a flag and a Brownlow.
Even if he doesn't win a flag, the contract's going to go up because
Exactly.
he's playing so well. It's
And-
going to be at all Australian level.
But also, like, it gives Harley Reid one more year to get awesome and he can go pair with him and win more flags in West Coast.
Or Harley Reid comes to Sydney.
That's not happening. If
It's going to be tough to get there after he's a Carlton.
what?
Just
But
saying.
but it is smart business because the new CBA comes in next year, so more money for everyone. And Chad Warner's like,
Cash in, Chundley.
Why not?
Cash
These
in.
ones.
When he does these ones, it means more money. We've got a mid-season draft.
yep.
Yep.
It's a bunch of names where you're like, sure.
There's like 10 blokes
fine.
past AFL players. Reece Masterson is.
He has not passed
the beast
a
mode.
test.
He's so big now. Yeah, sure.
It's a bit of a tricky one. You look at the names, you're like, I don't know if that's going to be an injury salve, Band-Aid kind of vibe. Brisbane would just be like, oh, we'll have all of them. We've got no one.
I
left.
know.
What about Richmond?
Collingwood as
Richmond,
well.
same sort of vibes.
Collingwood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think the rule should be if they have played for you in the past and they've retired, they don't count against the salary cap. They can come back and play at any point. Cochin, Rewalt. We're bringing the boys back
Bring them
together. The boys are back in town. Like, this is where we're at.
Batcher Hooley, get back
Batcher
in.
Hooley.
He's
You
still
can't
fit,
tell me he
yeah.
couldn't play right now
I
today.
agree.
If you
I
just
agree.
rolled the ball out, he was like, all right, I'm going to get 30. Like, this is great.
Jack Rewalt played in Tassie last week in a grade match.
This is it. I
We'll
mean,
bring back Magic Dory, kicked 11 on the weekend.
What?
Yeah, for Deer Park. Nothing too
That's
special. but
awesome.
It was pretty cool, yeah.
nice one. But that's my entire approach. Like, mid-season draft is all well and good, but at the same time, if they've played for you before, they shouldn't count against the salary cap and they can join whenever you want.
That
So
would be
who
very
gets
funny.
Jed Lamb? GWS, Sydney, or Carlton?
It's the team that you retired for. So
Okay.
sucked in Hawthorn if you want Luke Hodge. Too bad. It's like
Brisbane
retired
get
as a
him.
Lion.
I don't
Brisbane
think
are
he's
like, we actually need Hodgie. This would actually be really
Wait,
handy.
Would he
So
be
does
good
that-
anymore? I don't know.
Does that mean West Coast can, like, sorry, Sam Mitchell, you aren't coaching anymore. You're back playing for us.
Yeah, back pocket Sam Mitchell.
Captain
That'd be
coach,
good.
back at like the old days.
To be honest, if they need like another forward next to the J train, Peter Sumich.
Jeez. We're
That'd go
going
down-
way back now.
That'd go down great.
Imagine Glenn Jakovic.
I love that.
Yeah.
Just get the boys back together. Simple as that.
What's a
Pendles
hammy?
is out this Friday against the Dogs.
Oh, poor
The
Pendles.
Pies, they might need a couple of their former players to actually get out
I
there.
know.
Dane Swan's like, me, Can I, please.
Dane Swan would
Please
vomit
make
as soon
me
as he stepped on the
relevant
field,
again.
I reckon.
Yeah, he'll be fine. I love that idea, but I'm thinking about like Ben Simmons isn't doing much in the old NBA at the moment. The Bombers need a dude.
Yeah.
Bring
Bring
him
him
in
in.
mid-season draft.
Patty
What's
Mills?
stopping the
Patty
Bombers
Mills?
from just going? Can we pick Ben Simmons? We might need a
Imagine
backup
if he
ruckman.
nominated, he couldn't.
I saw Anthony Rocker the other day. He looked pretty fit. Put him at the full forward for
We're
Collingwood.
getting a lot older than the
This is
people in the
great.
mid-season
Kuda
draft.
is still ripped.
Kuda
Let's
could.
get him back.
Kuda
Paul
could.
Kelly is also still
Anyway,
ripped.
and now the big news from the weekend, well, from the early part of the week, is that the umpires have been instructed to reduce the amount of reasonable time that players have to kick or handball the footy, because apparently the AFL is broken, and the AFL are like, we need to fix this broken bit, and everybody's literally like, that's the wrong broken bit, you idiots.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
We're the
Clearly
only-
the broken bit is not opening the roof at Marvel.
Except
And
for the
then-
soccer. Yeah.
and then it's incorrect disposal, and then it's probably holding the ball.
Yeah.
Are we the only sport in the whole world that changes rules mid-season? Surely.
You have watched NBA before, haven't you, Stats
Yeah, I
Boy?
know, no, the refs do, but they don't like announce it, do they? I don't.
Hey,
they
The
don't-
NBA literally did that this year where it's like,
When?
hey, so at All-Star break, we definitely didn't have a meeting about changing the rules. And then 2 weeks later, like, we had a meeting about changing
Yeah,
the
okay,
rules.
okay.
Also, EPL this after one of the breaks
trying to
went
think.
with the ball boys. The ball boys couldn't throw the ball back quickly to
Oh,
the
yeah,
team.
okay. That's not like a real
Amazing.
technical change.
Yes,
but yeah,
it was.
Yeah.
Mikel Arteta had instructed the Arsenal ball boys to ping the ball
That's
back
right.
to Ben White quickly, but also stuff around when the ball went out for the other team.
Anyway, the
about that.
holding the ball rule has changed. This weekend is going to be chaos. I'm just going to have a 6-shooter of takes just ready and loaded on Sunday night for Sunday night show.
This is one time I'm happy the Swans have the bye because I'm not going to
I'll
put my
get to
foot
that
through the TV.
right now because the midweek winners and losers of the week. The midweek winners of this week are Sydney, the North Melbourne Kangaroos, the Brisbane Lions, and the GWS Giants. Why is that, you might ask? Well, they don't have to deal with this rule change that
Yeah.
will spin absolutely
just watch
everything
it, yeah,
into
yeah.
complete chaos. And then they go, oh, well, that didn't cost us a game or anything. That's
Yeah.
good. I mean, North would have lost anyway, but at the same time,
That is very true.
what are we saying? Like, it's literally they get to sit
and
back.
Lions would have lost,
They
probably.
get to sit back and just watch this just absolutely unfold
Mm.
as everyone overreacts and freaks out, and the umpire's like, "Oh, I don't know what I'm doing anymore," and those 4 teams just sit there and go, "I'm enjoying Bali." Like that's great. That's an absolute win for each of those 4 teams, especially Brisbane stink, Roos obviously stink.
Yeah.
GWS need a break definitely, and Sydney are flying.
Sydney
They
fine.
needed a
They probably
break,
need a
though.
break anyway. A few injuries.
So pretty good for the losers though, fans. Because they're just going to be screaming, going, that wasn't holding the ball. It's like, oh, here we go. This is great.
I'm happy if there's more holding the ball because I feel like this year, I mean, you screaming at the TV, incorrect disposal, yes. But I think there has been hardly any holding the ball calls in the game. So it'll be like revert back to the old a little bit.
I think that's the weirdest problem in this entire aspect of them changing the rule, right? Where it's like, I don't think most folks were really concerned about holding the ball so much as the incorrect disposal of the ball, right? I feel like it's 80-20.
Yeah.
Probably in favor of incorrect disposal because everyone's like, that was a drop. That was the throw. We're missing too much stuff. Like holding the ball, it's like a part almost of incorrect disposal, right? It's almost like here's the issue. We'll take care of this little sub issue rather than the full one. It's weird.
Even the way that we've named holding the ball doesn't really make sense.
They rolled out examples today with why they're changing the rule and all that, why they're changing the interpretation of it. But there's certain ones you look at like, that's holding the ball. That one's not. It's literally the pub test going. He picked it up, took 3 steps, got tackled. That's probably holding the ball.
This is it.
He picked it up, went to give a handball, took the tackler on, got smashed.
And then he got
holding the ball. Picked
Everyone
it up,
knows that,
got tackled straight all the way. Ball up.
It's ball up. It's simple. We talked about the pub test on Sunday Night Show, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, there were so many instances this year that just don't pass the pub test. And you're like, come on, can we just figure this out? And I propose we figure it out. We will be the pub test. I'm already at the pub anyway, so let's go.
You live at the pub.
This week I have lived at the pub. Last night got hairy. It's like a Tuesday. What are you doing, Jim? Anyway, point being.
Therapy session.
Let's pour it all out, Porsche. But the idea here is simply the pub test. I don't feel like holding the ball was the biggest thing. It was incorrect disposal.
That's my biggest
is the
problem.
Same basic thing.
They're not going to reward the tacklers for tackling someone, and then if they somehow grab the arm and the bloke drops the ball as they're trying to handball, it's incorrect disposal. That's holding the ball. Like it's not
exactly.
It's not hard. Are we good?
Let me get this straight. You're telling me that the AFL is making something more complicated?
Yeah, the umpires are probably sitting there like, we have so many complicated rules. They've got every rule has 10 dot points.
This is where I just go to be like, boys, just
calm
umpire
down.
like it's park footy.
Yep.
You know, think they've had too long, they've stuffed it up, hold the ball. Done.
If
We
it's
should have a
egregious,
game with no whistles at all.
I think that was Gold Coast Carlton last week.
Yes, it was, and it sucked.
For Carlton. Let's do some right. Off the back of that. Hey, will the umpires overcorrect this weekend with holding the ball? Yeah, nah. Yeah, of course they're going to. It's going to be chaos.
It is tough for them, so I'm going to say yeah.
I do love it. You got to remember it's really hard being an umpire.
It is.
I mean, it's hard, but it's not rocket surgery, you know?
I think out of
They're
all
not curing
sports, it's
cancer.
one of the hardest. We've got way too many rules.
It's chaos. It's going to be chaos.
But it's like
everyone's going to get so angry. Thursday night's just going to be the worst because that's Carlton, obviously, against Port. At Adelaide over. Carlton are definitely going to lose that game. We'll
Port Adelaide fans will be
Power
very
fans will be
vocal.
losing it.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got 8 teeth between them and one song. You love to see it. But either way,
can't tear them apart, Jim.
No.
They might tear apart an umpire.
Yeah. Why is that umpire
Hey, you ever
stretched
seen an
out?
umpire torn from limb? Yes, once. Anyway, there will definitely be overcorrections this weekend.
Yep.
Simple as that. Hey, will the Saints finish bottom 4? Yeah, nah.
Yeah.
Oh, who we got? Richmond. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out who else would be in there.
Yeah.
I'll say yeah. Why not?
Are they the biggest disappointment this year? Yeah. nah.
Yeah.
Yeah. People might say
Brisbane's
Brisbane, but they're
sitting
still
there, but-
hanging on a little bit. Saints made the finals last year, and they could be bottom 4.
Brisbane made the
that's
grand
pretty bad.
final.
Yeah.
They've also been smashed by injuries.
Maybe
Whereas
I'll
I
look
think
at the
the
ladder.
point was, especially earlier in this week, people are like, hey, hang on, the Saints are actually pretty healthy. Like, what just happened?
They're just terrible to watch. They've
tell
gone
you-
backwards.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
I feel like the Ross Lyon, I feel like there's talk about line of demarcations in the ladder. There's definitely a use by date on Ross Lyon's approach. And he's only been in the job for 18 months.
Just on Ross Lyon,
Now
yeah.
it's gotten shorter and shorter and
So
shorter.
it hit by what was it, the second week of September last year.
he's got a lot of their young guys just didn't take that next step. Philippu's getting dropped when he was awesome last year. Even Max King, what the hell's going on
It's
with
okay.
him?
Silvani Silvani will fix it.
Yeah, apparently.
So
Stop
I'm
for
ready.
waitering $5 million.
He's like, hey, everybody from Carlton, come play for me.
Yeah.
Are St Kilda in a worse spot right now than they were when they sacked Brett Ratton? Yeah, nah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
In
are
terms of the ladder, aren't they? Where were they on the ladder with him?
I think they just missed the finals, but they're infinitely worse to watch. The game plan is we're just going to clamp and hope we kick goals somehow, but there's no movement forward of the ball. It doesn't seem that there's a game plan for 2024 football. It's a game plan for 2006 that might have worked back then, but now with how the game's advanced, Rowan Marshall's just like, I'm good, but this sucks.
You got Brett Ratton, 34 and 34 at the Saints. They probably take that at the moment. They've got a lot more losses than wins. Yeah.
500 they'd take.
Yeah.
I think it's a fascinating setup where, that
They're
approach
definitely worse.
if you think about the teams that Ross had, he obviously had a Pavlich, half forward.
Fife.
He had Rewalt.
Yep.
And before that, they had plenty of talent around the ball. This St Kilda team just feels bereft. It's
But
a lot of
last year we
steals-
talked
it's a
about
lot
a lot
of
of their
steals
players.
and Sinclairs and stuff, and you're like, how good are they? Right?
But that's the thing. You look at St Kilda's list, and they are what Essendon have been. Is there's a lot of dudes, but they're not good enough to be good, but they're not bad enough to be this horrendous. Yet they are. So finally, they may get a top 5 draft pick. Because that's the
Yeah,
thing.
they've always been in that middle.
They've always been in that middle pack.
I'll
It's
give you
like,
that. Yeah.
do we bottom out and do we trade and try and get a stack of draft picks?
That's right. They've still got Paddy Dow. North Melbourne, are they in a better position than St Kilda?
We're just going really against St Kilda here today. No.
No, because you're 0-10.
Oh, so exactly.
No,
You
you're
can't-
not. You have not won a game. You've won, what, 3 games in the
Saints
last
have
2 years?
more, like, they have probably like 5 to 10 guys that you go, all right, they're at least decent players where we can't say that about North.
I'm looking 12 months down the track, and I'd rather be in North Melbourne shoes.
But I said that last year.
Is this
about
before or
North.
after you fired Clarko?
Yeah.
After.
I don't
'Cause
know.
he's gotta be
Especially
fired,
if we're firing Clark, then it's going to take another long time to rebuild.
You can't afford to fire Clarko.
I know.
This is the one thing
I know, right?
I
Yeah.
keep yelling about fire Clarko. And then
But
in the
we
back
can't
of my head, it's
afford
like,
it, yeah.
Jim, they can't afford to
No.
pay him out. I'm
No.
like, oh, yes. That's a big bank loan.
It is annoying.
Anyway, it's like, geez, we're on the 4th mortgage of Varden Street. Oh, geez,
Oh,
mister.
no.
They're out there, hats in hands. Like, where's some more money
We
for those
were,
AFL?
10, 15 years ago, that pretty much
We
happened.
actually made money last year.
Yeah, we're back.
Right.
On the financial side, that's it.
The other good one of this, when it comes to North, outside of Sheasel and Larkey, would any other North player make another AFL list?
This is an absolute joke.
LDU's definitely going to make on one. But that's 3.
I think Wardlaw, of course.
The Warlord has been a little bit disappointing this year.
Nah. He literally, he's in a horrible team. He would fit in most teams.
Zerha would make a couple of bottom 6
yeah.
lists.
Tom Powell.
Tom Powell's gone really well. I think Paul Curtis is a sneaky shout as well.
Yeah, Curtis is
Cherry
good.
plays a rock
Cherry as
somewhere.
well. Yeah, I think
yeah,
this
Cherry.
question is a bit harsh.
So it's probably like 7.
There's at least 10, I think.
Is that a Barb's Barb? Like,
Nah,
feels like it's
that's
a
Adam.
Adam just doesn't
it's an
like
Adam
North.
Barb,
And
yeah.
he's up and about because Hawks are going all right.
Both Sydney teams finished top 4. Yeah, nah.
They get
Nah, GWS don't make it.
Okay, I was going to say if GWS
Where
get
are
going,
they right now? They are
They're like 6th, 7th.
5th.
Oh.
Nah. I'm going to say Geelong will jump back in there.
Is West Coast being favourites against St Kilda hilarious? Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. No one's going to argue against that.
That's a funny one.
That is very funny.
Well, they nearly beat them last year. I distinctly remember that game because I was sitting again in the pub. There's a through line here. I can't put my finger on it. But either way, I was there with the squid and we're watching this game. He's like deleting some chips and I'm deleting a
At
pint.
least it didn't say beers. Yeah.
And away we go. We're watching that game and I'm like, oh my God, they're going to completely bottle
We were
this.
texting each other during that game. This is hilarious.
It was great. Either way, and we've got a bunch of other YNRs locked in for later next week. It's a lot of cap stuff, reserves competition, and some All-Australian. But my favourite is who would win a fight between Harley Reid and Nick Dacos. That's not even a
That's
YNR. It's
easy,
very
yeah.
clearly
It's just
Harley Reid.
yeah.
Like,
I think Alex just wanted to slip in Harley Reid.
Yeah, I
in
just
there.
wanted to slip in that question. Who would win in a fight between Harley Reid and Nick Dacos, and why is it Harley Reid?
Obviously,
it's not
Harley.
even
He's
a
a lot
YNR.
bigger.
It's like the way you've posed that question is not a yeah.
No, I
It's
just
like,
wanna-
I like Harley Reid, Jim. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, buddy. Okay.
Sorry, that was our Harley Reid segment of the
Yeah.
day.
We've hit our quota. All right. Not yet. All-Australian team coming up. Right. Should we do it?
Why not? It's going to start some
Mid-year.
arguments here.
We're going to start some arguments.
A lot of arguments.
The mid-year All-Australian teams. Now, I figured I'd throw out mine. You can tell me where I've gone wrong and throw in your replacements.
You've picked Carlton and Essendon combined 18, so
no,
you've gone
it's
wrong.
just Essendon.
It's just Essendon saying.
They're the best team in the
Or
AFL.
20 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's 22 Essendon players. So away we go.
With Patrick Cripps on the bench.
Yeah.
There's like
and Harley Reid.
there's an
somewhere in
asterisk next to it. Is like, but then also just all of the Suns if they're playing
Oh,
up north.
Jed Walters in there too.
there. Oh, yeah.
No, that's in
These-
the Awesome Dudes All-Australian team, which I also have. So
Oh, my God, you actually do.
I'll do the handsome, the best handsome 22 next week.
Nice.
All-Australian teams. Where do you want me to start? Back or forward?
Go back.
Back. You always
All
start
right.
back.
Liam Jones, Alex Pearce, Sam Taylor.
Liam Jones.
Liam Jones.
Jones has been really good.
No.
And he's like completely snuck under the
All
radar.
right, all right.
Disagree.
Halfback, Nick Dacos.
Yep.
Stephen May.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Blakey.
I've got the exact same halfback line.
Nice.
Ooh, I'm a bit
we
different.
should be friends. In the centre, I've got Zerrett, Cripps, and Butters.
I got Butters. I don't have. I've got Zerrett and Cripps elsewhere.
Nice one.
I got some
half
wings.
forward. I just threw Heaney on the half forward bit there.
Yeah.
J Train Langford.
No Langford. J Train elsewhere.
I don't know if I have. Yeah, Waterman. Yeah. We'll get
Ben
into
King,
it.
Charlie, and Stengel up front.
Ben King,
I'm
Charlie.
completely different full forward line. I
You
got
forgot
Charlie.
about Jesse Hogan, I reckon. Yeah.
I've not forgotten about Jesse Hogan because I don't
that's
think
a bit
he's
harsh.
been that great.
Oof.
Not the last
He had
3
a
weeks,
really
but
great
before
start,
that.
and
Yeah.
it's just completely fallen off a cliff. Followers: Gornicus, Maximus, Chunley Warner, Caleb Sarong. Interchange. Whoa, Errol, Jordan Dawson.
Jordan Dawson?
He has fired up the last
Yeah.
like 5 weeks. I had him
Oh.
actually ahead of Isaac Rankine. Luke Ryan.
Yep.
The last spot is between Jacob Wiedering, Christian Petrarca, the Bond, or Adam Treloar.
I got none of them.
Interesting.
Yeah, same.
I'll probably throw Weeders in there because he's held that Carlton backline together, and I
Fair
might
enough.
need an
You've
extra
missed.
defender.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who
we
do I
do
miss?
it.
Go.
Oh,
Ben, did you say Ben Mackay?
no, I haven't got Ben Mackay.
Mackay,
Nah.
nah.
Yeah, I got Ben Mackay in there. I got Finn Callahan on
I
one
had
of
a
my
very, very strict no gingers policy.
Oh.
as well,
Finn
so-
Callahan.
I got Finn Callahan
Hasn't
on
even
one of my
played
wings.
half the games, has he?
Sure.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, because I'm also picking on legitimate positions.
Nah.
I had Chad.
Don't care about
Yeah, I was
positions.
talking about that.
I'm
Yeah.
just like, let's go.
Yeah, I had Chad Warner at half forward instead of Heaney, so I swapped them around. I had Grind Myers at my other half forward flank.
That's a weird
Oh,
way to
yeah, I've got
pronounce,
Grind
Grind or Messi.
Messi.
Yeah. My full forward line was Fritsch, Waterman, and Hogan.
Fritsch just can't get it. Like,
Fritsch, he's such a junk time goal sneak. That's why I don't have him. But I've got Vlosten in there. I think he's had
How
had
can
6
you
or
pick
7
a
weeks.
defender in a 1-10 team?
Because he's just a very skillful
But no,
player.
is it that he's looking good because the ball's going down there so often?
Yeah, but
because
he's
his
had,
team
he's
sucks.
had like 3 half decent games,
Yeah,
and then
he
he's
had-
getting smashed.
Nah,
the
he's
rest
had like
of the
6
time.
He
or
had
7
one
up.
good game.
Anyway, and then I've got Stephen May. I don't know if either
I
of you
got
guys have him.
I got
We
Stephen
literally
May.
both
Did you have
said
him?
half
Oh,
yeah.
this is a
We
lot of
both
names
had
to
him.
remember. Brian Myers, I agreed with. Stengel, I had
Nah.
in my forward
I had
pocket.
Stengel in my
Nah.
forward
Just because I think you got to put him in there.
He's a
King,
weapon.
Ben King, Isaac Rankin.
Nah.
Did you have him? No.
Nah.
He was like one of my tough outs.
I
Yeah.
think he's got to be in there. I
He
think he's having
and
an
Dawson are my
underrated
tough
season.
outs.
Underrated season, Isaac Rankin. And then I've snuck in Rowan Marshall on my bench, which I talked about on one of the other shows, just because I think he's having an underrated season.
I had Grundy instead of Rowan Marshall as my backup ruckman. My bench was Grundy, Cripps, Sarong, and Nick Martin. I had Sam Taylor in my back line as well.
I had Sam Taylor
Sam
there as well,
Taylor.
right? So he's like
Oh.
Jones, Pearce, and Sam Taylor.
Yeah.
Josh
All that.
Dacos as well.
Nah.
I just on the wing. I just want to pick traditional wingers. I don't think that's how the
Yeah, he just doesn't get on
All-Australian
because of
work.
his sketchy
and
facial
also
hair.
Errol and Finn Callahan, much more handsome.
I can't
The
believe Finn
weirdest
Callahan's in there.
the
That's
weirdest
crazy.
parts for me, like Truck, Bond. It's hard. Like Trelaw probably makes it onto my interchange ahead of Weeders.
I haven't
but at
got
the same
any of
time,
them.
Trelaw's just gotten 1 million instances of the pill.
Yeah.
And the Bont has had some weird up and down weeks. We're like, was he?
That's
on?
why
Did
he's
he
not in
play?
mine yet.
What's
Yeah,
going on?
yeah.
Truck, they sent him forward for that Carlton game, nearly wins them the game off the back. Off his own back, and the rest of the season's sort of been very bumpy.
Yeah.
They're still very good. He should probably make it, maybe, but
What about Cripper? That was the other
He's
one
on
that
my
was
bench.
was on. Yeah,
he's
I know.
literally in the middle of
I
mine.
know for yours he was in yours,
Oh,
but ours he isn't. I just wasn't.
It's because you were haters.
Yeah, I
very
don't know.
clearly.
I don't know if I can fit him in there.
My starting midfielder was Zach Butters.
Ooh, okay.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on my bench. I chucked Heaney and Merritt. I think Merritt,
Yeah,
just because of his goal kicking
My
ability. he has to start
starting
him.
centre circle is Gorn, Heaney, Merritt, Butters.
Warner, Sarong, Zerek, Cripps, Butters.
Yeah, no.
There's so many midfield
I had
options.
Sarong on the bench.
Good
so.
year for all Australians, though. We'll keep
It
up
is.
our rolling all Australian coverage, but basically we're at the halfway point. We've got the first round of buys here.
Tough year
the
to be a
first
midfielder.
round of the second round of buys. Great job,
Yeah.
AFL. Either way, there's some all Australian. We will do their all handsome team next week, and the
Ooh.
best actual dudes. That's a rolling one that I've got as well in the
Best actual
Google Doc.
dudes.
Just saying.
Yeah.
So the best dude you want to hang out with, dudes. That's my all Australian.
Stephen
team.
May's not in that team.
No, I don't want to get hit.
No, because I don't want to get punched in the head. All right. Let's move on to Thursday night footy. Thursday night footy.
He's a jockey.
I love Thursday night footy. Let's do it. I'm going to hate this one, though, because the Thursday night football preview for this week involves my team, my beloved Carlton Blues, going up against Port Adelaide, who are 6.5-point favourites. They are above them on the ladder as well. This will be at Adelaide Oval on Thursday night, 7:30 p.m.
Yep.
The over-under is 155.5, which feels pretty low because Carlton have given up some pretty big scores. We saw last week that would have just scooched over as well because they let goal go score some pretty cheap
Yeah, what
goals
was
late
that
on
last week? Yeah.
because I think they just topped a hundy.
Yeah.
Port, sure, pretty handy. The biggest problem for me
So
is
hard to read.
Carlton stink at Adelaide Oval.
Yes. Yes,
So,
Jim.
stats boy, give us some stats.
Why not? Blues 1-7 all time at Adelaide Oval, but that one win was in gather round against Freo. So they've never beaten Adelaide or Port
So
Adelaide.
you're telling me
at
that
the Adelaide
every
Oval.
game that I go to, they win?
Yeah,
at
actually,
Adelaide
you were there.
Oval.
So you got to go.
Go Blues.
Are you on? You got to get a flight tonight.
I'm going to
and
go jump in the
Adelaide.
car. I'll see you.
Get the car. I don't think.
Wait,
I
so-
don't-
Ding, 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 ding.
So that means also every game Stats Guy's gone to at the Adelaide Oval, they've won.
Yeah, but he's just saying as a Carlton fan.
As a
As a Carlton fan,
Like,
like,
I don't
I'm
really care if they
clearly
win or
the
not.
causation here.
And the umpires helped him there a little bit. as
There's
well,
no
so-
correlation. It's causation.
causation. Oh yeah, there you go.
They're
And
like,
then-
Jim's here. We better win for him.
yeah, you saw
I'm
you
like,
in the
hello.
crowd. The other one, the other stat was it's third versus the fifth offense in the comp, but the last 5 Port matches have gone under the total points at Adelaide Oval. So that's why
Really?
that's why that over under is really small, I think, because at Adelaide Oval for some reason Port just can't kick a big score.
I was seriously going to question that when I was like, wait, didn't Port and Geelong have a shootout a few weeks ago? But Adelaide Oval makes
Adelaide
sense.
Oval,
That's
yeah,
it.
I wrote that one. Yeah, down a bit. Oh, there you go.
It is a really, really strange setup, I think, with the power. And they're hard to really get a proper read on, right? So that
Up
they
and
come
down,
from the clouds
yeah.
and like win that Hawthorn game out of nowhere. Last
that's right, they won
33
that.
seconds, right? Like
2
just
goals.
stupid.
Crazy.
They beat Geelong in Geelong. They get rolled pretty easily by the Crows. The Croms smashed them essentially in the showdown. They beat St Kilda at home. That doesn't look like the world's greatest win
And
right
that
now.
win was gross
They
too.
got killed by Collingwood over here. They beat
So
Freo over there
inconsistent.
in like a
Oh my
really
God.
stupid,
They
like
n-
scrappy, gross game.
Annihilated Essendon.
They smashed Essendon and gather around that we were all at.
That was an outlier game for both teams. That was,
So
that was
I don't know.
very
It's
wild.
a weird, strange season. It's a really hard one to get a good bit of a grasp on. I'm still going to take Port just because I think Carlton travelling. I don't trust them on the road at all this
trust
year.
them.
I mean,
Righto,
they got
stats
absolutely
guy.
killed by Sydney obviously 2 weeks ago. They came home. They beat Gold Coast at Marvel, but that's the problem. Gold Coast stink away from home as well. So I think Port win this by 8. I think they just have a little bit too much class in the midfield as well because I think Gold Coast just went off the boil last week. Carlton won the contested ball pretty handily. Charlie and Harry were pretty handy. The Port back line, pretty solid. Forward line, wildly dangerous at times, wildly off the ball at other times.
Yep.
This will be a close one though, so I'm going by 8,
Ooh.
which means that Port just cover that 6.5 point line. Stats boy?
I'm going to go Port by 13. I was tossing and turning between this one. I think it's going to be really
you up
tough.
at night.
It did.
the
Adelaide
only
Oval,
thing.
though, just Blues don't win there. Port, so hard to read, but same as Carlton. I think it's going to be really close, but Port just have that offensive power just to get them over the line.
Because like, if Rosie's not playing as well, right? And if we've got the Hornet, so he's been absolutely
He's better
smashing
when one of
basically
those
when
guys-
Rosie's not playing.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's sort of they don't really lose too much because like Ollie Wines, is he back for this as well?
No, he's been
played
playing the
last
last couple of
He's
weeks.
been playing,
The
right?
last
So-
3 or 4 weeks as well.
He
Both
had the heart thing like 2 weeks ago, and they're like,
Yes.
he's good, it's fine.
Finally, yeah, he's all right. But Wines and Boak have actually found some form the last 3 weeks. So,
Boak's an interesting super coach one.
yes.
Anyway, Alex.
I'm leaning towards the Flaggers here.
Oh.
I just think a lot of injuries around Port at the moment. No Rosie. Willie Rioli went off sore last week. Soldo is apparently coming back to play, but he's in off an injury as well. So this could be Tom DeCane just go, I'm going to run you all over
He could have
this
a big
joint.
game, yeah.
Could be a big TDK game, and then it just allows Charlie to really work into the game. And I'm just going to go with Carlton by 2 goals.
Interesting.
Nice.
I don't like it.
I was
hate
surprised
this
you
game.
didn't
I
too.
like
Yeah.
your forward line more than I like Port's as well.
I just hate the timing of this game. Like if Zach Williams plays forward again,
That was great.
it's
Yeah.
fine. But at the same time, Carlton might have Motlop. He played in the VFL last week.
Yeah.
Gives him
Ooh.
another interesting sort of
Couple of
small
goals.
forward. I don't know. But it's just a really tricky matchup, and Carlton just don't win in Adelaide. If they do,
No.
I'll be pleasantly surprised, of course. And then it'll be lids off completely, because if we can win in Adelaide Oval, we're winning.
also
Against
need-
Port, the frauds.
You win the flag,
You also
we win
need
it
to
out.
remember where Carlton are in the top 8 at this moment.
8th.
Exactly.
I know exactly where
You
they
know,
are.
yeah, we all know.
No,
but
he's
it's-
like,
but it's-
Jim, have you had a look at where Carlton are in the ladder? I'm like,
I think it was
A
a
lot of
rhetorical
times.
question.
But it's more that Port frauds.
Yeah.
Top 8 team.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they don't beat top 8 teams. There you go. Jim's going against his word.
they beat Geelong the other day, Port,
Yeah.
Okay,
Other-
one off.
for sure.
One off, yeah. But yeah,
Anyway,
they are frauds.
I know that they're frauds, but they're at home. So
Yeah.
Carlton might be more fraudulent, especially on the road.
Yes.
Supercoach tips, vibes, thoughts
Ugh.
for this week. This is an absolutely chaotic week, I think, for the old Supercoach because you got your best
So
18
annoying.
scoring,
Yeah.
which is helpful, but at the same time, we have 0 rookies to bring in, which stinks. We also have a really sort of tough, difficult captaincy question where my
not too
initial
bad.
vibe was Walsh up against Port, where it's like he could absolutely go hammer and tongs.
No Rosie.
Uh,
Helps that.
He's had a couple of massive scores this year, but then outside of that, I don't know. What are we looking at, stats boy?
In terms of captains,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Bont Vice. I think he was awesome last week, 135. And then honestly, unless Bont goes huge, I'm just gonna keep it on Gorn as captain because Gorn. I was so annoyed I didn't keep it on Gorn last week. 180. He's been the best Supercoach player, so yeah, I'll probably keep it on Gorn. I reckon.
Gorn plays at Alice Springs.
that's on
against
Sunday, isn't it, as well?
Against Freo. So Sunday at 1 o'clock.
Yeah. And I know Jackson and Darcy are pretty solid, but Gorn just literally towed up Marshall and got 180 against one of the best ruckmen. So
Dacos Friday night against the Dogs. You never know.
Not bad as well,
Dacos might get bevoed. Which is,
actually, at Marvel, Dacos goes alright as well.
and you have Essendon Gold Coast. I don't know. It's a weird one for the Zeret, Ridley, Martin type. So
Yep.
I don't know. It's a weird week. You've also got the Saints. Rowan Marshall against the Eagles, possibly out west. Who knows?
Oh, yeah, that's actually good one. Bailey Williams, yeah, we'll get towed up there.
The biggest tough ones, I think, is that Joe Richards was out after
Oh.
tunning up again. So
Alex, came and worked yesterday. He's like, Joe Richards is injured. Oh,
Yeah.
he just
I
got
really-
100,
I
the
broke
rookie.
Stats guy's heart.
Yeah,
so
I was not happy.
I've also just realised in draft I don't have a ruck because I had Jordan Sweet and then I had Briggsy who's got the bye.
Oh, no.
And then my midfield is Rosie and Cornelio both injured plus the bye for GWS with Chunley Warner. So it's like I'm short a player.
That was actually a news ticket that we sort of missed out on because like we hit it on Sunday night that Caniglio still hurt his shoulder, played through it for a bit. And went, hang on a second, I can't feel my arm. 6 weeks.
Oh, I didn't even see it. Was
4
it
to 6? I think it was with the-
I didn't even see
All
that.
right, well, I'm trading him right now. And
Probably a good idea. Or maybe this is just a bit of fake news and I'm going to get you to trade him and I'll pick him up.
mate,
Watch it.
I'm screwed. I need to.
Anyway, but there are very, very few rookies on the ground this week, so trade carefully and listen to the Supercoach show.
Yes.
Good stuff. All right, is that it for AFL Today for today?
I think so.
Yeah.
Nice one. We'll be back on deck with AFL Today tomorrow. God, I love saying that. It'll be the AFL Today Thursday night team show. It will be Stats Boy and I think just doing that one a little bit earlier than usual and then cramming teams on at the end, which will be pretty interesting and pretty fun. Different way of doing it. We'll see how we go. But again, thanks to Alex for jumping on.
Cheers, Jim.
With all of his pro Sydney buys. And we have the Stats Boy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Great job, Stats Boy. Great addition to the show. Remember to smash a like across all the
Round
socials.
one. You dog.
I'm still here.
We've been here since the preseason.
Smash a like across all the socials, of course, to see us doing stuff and lots of fun, weird things. I think we'll have all of our All-Australian teams all read out properly and nicely, which will be very nice. You can check out the AFL Today show, of course, on YouTube, Facey, IG, TikTok, X. I believe it is the Sports Today show on Facey.
Yep.
But you can also check out all the other shows as well. Cricket Today podcast, Football Today podcast, NBA Australia, hold all tickets for all your GGs as well. NFL Australia too, if you just want to listen to last season. That'd be weird. Either way, subscribe, star, and like all of them. What are you doing? If you haven't subscribed and starred at this point, you're just dogging the boys. It's just rough as guts, mate. Rough as guts. Either way, get right around all of those shows, just like, I don't know, how about a Steve Silvani screamer against the Pies back in 1988? That one's from the vault. Go Google that.
Good.
All right, we'll catch you tomorrow for the AFL Today team show tomorrow. Until then, look after yourselves. Remember, footy's back.